Questions for oral answer. Question number 1 in the name of Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Energy and Resources and asks, does he think conservation land designated as ecological areas should be opened up for petroleum exploration as part of Block Offer 2014?
Speaker.
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Speaker, yes, and as the member knows, any operator wanting to undertake exploration activity within these areas would need to first meet all the regulatory requirements, including obtaining an access agreement from the Department of Conservation and a resource consent under the RMA from the relevant local authority. Let's remember that the block offer is a call for exploration bids, and exploration itself is just the first step in a long process that may or may not lead to production.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is he aware that the Conservation Act, which applies to all ministers, says every designated ecological area, and I quote, shall be so managed as to protect the value for which it is held?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Speaker, yes.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Dr. Russel Norman.
Is he aware that the Orikaka ecological area was created to protect important great spotted kiwi habitat, and how is allowing bulldozers to rip open this area to pave the way for gigantic drilling rigs protecting the value of this special place?
Honourable Simon
Speaker,
Bridges.
I'm glad that the member can name an ecological area because on radio this morning he couldn't.
Order. Answer
but
the
Mr.
question.
Speaker,
Order. I invite the Minister to answer the question.
But Mr. Speaker, we take these issues very seriously. That's why I said in my primary answer there's a layered process, that this is merely the beginning of, and the sort of issues that Mr. Norman is raising will be processed and considered by the Department of Conservation, also through the RMA process.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is he aware that the Kaniere ecological area was created to protect dense Rimu hill forest and habitat for long-finned eels and short-jawed kōkōpū, and how is allowing bulldozers to rip open this area to pave the way for gigantic drilling rigs protecting the value of this special designated place?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not aware of that. That could be one of the ecological areas that the Labor Party consented when they were in government, and Mr. Norman's party was propping them up.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question. Order. Supplementary question, Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is he aware that the Te Wharo ecological area was created to protect a relatively isolated Pākehī and Manuka shrubland ecosystem and a fern bird population, and how is allowing bulldozers to rip open this area to pave the way for gigantic drilling rigs protecting the special value of this special designated place?
Honourable Simon
Speaker,
Bridges.
Speak to the member. It strikes me this is scaremongering by the member, simply because that's a party that says no to all development, no ifs, no buts. Actually, this is a party on this side of the House, and on its better days.
Point of order, Kevin Haig.
The Minister is making no attempt to address the question.
Order, I agree. The member will repeat the question for the benefit of the Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is he aware that the Te Wharo ecological area was created to protect a relatively isolated Pākehī and Manuka shrubland ecosystem and a fern bird population, and how is allowing bulldozers to rip open this area to pave the way for gigantic drilling rigs protecting the special value of this special designated place?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm not aware of any of the emotive claptrap that the member is talking about.
That's right. That's
Supplementary.
Order. Order. Supplementary question, Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. is he aware that the Mount Harata ecological area was created to protect unmodified red beech dominant forest and wildlife habitats that are particularly important to birds, and how is allowing bulldozers to rip open this area to pave the way for gigantic drilling rigs protecting the value of this special designated and legislatively protected place?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Well, I refer the member essentially to my earlier response to the last supplementary, but I think it is worth understanding here that mining, that ecological areas in this block offer are entirely on the West Coast. The West Coast has had mining and conservation coexisting for the most part harmoniously for well over 100 years. There's been consenting and this in ecological areas under both the national and also the last Labor government that the Green Party propped up and did nothing to stop.
That's right.
Supplementary. Order. 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 Supplementary question, Dr. Russell Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will he respect the wishes of New Zealanders, not to mention the Conservation Act, who love our precious places and wildlife, by refusing to grant petroleum exploration permits over any designated ecological areas?
Speaker.
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Absolutely. That is why, under this government, a third of New Zealand is conservation estate, 13% is Schedule 4, and we have a very clear policy that we are not touching any of that. In relation to the other parts of the conservation estate that aren't in Schedule 4, as I made clear in my primary question, we've absolutely got robust processes through the Department of Conservation and through the RMA processes post the very start of it, which is exploration, indeed, which we've consulted on.
Question number 2, Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. Does he believe that the government's policies have reduced income inequality? If so, does he... Sorry, could I read that again? Does he believe that the government's policies have reduced income inequality? If so, does he agree with the IMF that rising inequality slows economic growth?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, the evidence shows that inequality in New Zealand has been flat or slightly declining since the mid-2000s. And we also believe that a number of the measures the government took through the recession certainly prevented inequality worsening at a time when government was very short of revenue. But I welcome the member's interest in the IMF's view, because among their recent comments on New Zealand, the IMF emphasised the importance of ongoing fiscal discipline to a sustainable economic recovery. Nowhere in the statement does the IMF refer to inequality, and that's for a very good reason with respect to New Zealand, because inequality in New Zealand has not increased over the last 10 years.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, Honourable David Parker.
Well, then do I take it that the budget that's upcoming will reverse the 40% of the 2010 income tax cuts which went to the top 10% of income earners?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, no. And if the member bothered doing his homework, he would have seen that at the time of the 2010 tax package, we published detailed distributional impact measures, which showed that the combination of income tax cuts, an increase in GST, and effectively $1 billion